This meeting to order, 7 o'clock. Having said that, I'll turn the chair over to Councillor Dana Ferguson.
Oh, it's me first. Yeah. Sorry. Yes, that's right. The Mayor and Council wish to acknowledge that the town of Fort Smith is located within Treaty 8 territory. Treaty 8 territory also encompasses the traditional homelands of the Salt River First Nation, Smith Landing First Nation, and the Indigenous Métis peoples of Fort Smith. These nations have maintained stewardship of the sacred lands and throughout the generations, and we honor your knowledge, teaching, traditions, and the land. We're mindful that colonization has not been kind, and we respectfully recognize our generational histories and commit to strive for unity in the spirit of truth and reconciliation. Moving on the agenda, I see that there is no financial interest, statement of financial interest, but we do have a delegation today, and that is from Aaron Solberg. If you guys want to come up and delegate to the council. And just make sure when you're speaking, have your mic on or no one can hear you.
Can you hear me? There we go. Well, thank you for allowing us to come in and just chat with you guys. My predecessor, Alex Pryor, sent a letter to mayor and council, I believe originally in 2021 or 2022, and it was about the cost of utilities for the church had gone up by $400 a month at that time without any explanation. So we were paying for the church hall, and the house where the priest lives, $217.15 per month. And then in April 2022, it went up to $617.95 per month. So that's a $4,800 increase a year. So it's about 5% of our operating budget. And I know, like, the Anglican Church, we think of the Anglican Church, a big church across Canada and everything, but in the north, the Anglican Church, we receive zero funding from anywhere. We are completely self-sufficient here, and especially here in Fort Smith. So every penny that we have in our bank account right now is because people come into our church on Sunday morning and donate to our church because they want us to continue doing the work that we do. And what we do with that money, other than, pay utilities, salary, heating costs, is we help run the food bank. We help try to support, new college students coming into town. For example, last Sunday we had 2 or 3 new college students who joined the church that are here for the heavy equipment operating program. Food insecurity, it's at least once a month, twice a month, people are knocking on my door because they need something to eat. Pastoral care and counseling, free lunches for senior citizens, like this Thursday, pizza this Thursday at noon, and musical events at Northern Lights. We're at Northern Lights once a week doing music, and we do a lot of youth work as well. And we're here for the whole community, not just Christians, not just Anglicans. My schedule as a counselor, as a pastoral counselor, is full right now, and there's not one member of my church in there. There's actually everybody that comes to me for counseling, for pastoral care, doesn't attend a church. They just need a caring ear, and they like to come to me. And the leftover money that we have at the end of the year, what we use it for is to support churches across the north. So I was up in Nunavut before I came here, and in Nunavut, we had on Christmas Eve, for example, almost 400 people in our church, and maybe 10% of the tithing that we had here in Fort Smith when we only had 40 people in our church, because people don't have as much money up there often, but they still need that support. And so the money that we have here that we get, we try to use also to support churches in Nunavut, Nunavik, and NWT. So we obviously want to pay our bills, and we're not asking you guys to give us a free ride, but it is 5% of our operating budget. And so we'd like you guys to consider, if possible, maybe reducing at least the church hall, because it's mixed use. It's not institutional, it's a mixed use. And the cost of the rectory, because that's a residential building. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Cravette?
Thank you for your presentation and delegation. I'm well aware of the great work that the church does for our community and the support it provides. Just a question: is the church registered as an NWT not-for-profit organization?
Yeah, we're a charity. Yes.
Any other questions from the floor? Deputy Mayor?
So I'm to believe that all three buildings on the Anglican Church property are zoned as institutional, correct?
The property zoning for that, all that property is institutional. Yeah.
Okay, we'll take your request under advisement. Oh, Councillor Cravette?
Just sort of with the zoning and I guess the building use, I would assume that the your resident is solely for residential purposes, and your other services are administered either out of the other two buildings on that property.
So the most used building, obviously the church we use for most things, the church hall for mostly for events and rentals. The house is, I would say, 98% residential. My office is technically in the front of the house, but I think of all my meetings I have in the last month, met one person there. Mostly we go to N60 for our meetings or Tim Hortons. So those count as church offices.
Thank you. Is there any other questions from the floor or from the council? Okay, so we're going to take your request under advisement and then we'll get back to you with a response.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening.
We had another delegation that notified us that they were not going to attend. And so if I can have someone review or move the agenda.
I move we adopt the agenda as presented.
I'll second that.
Is there any additions or changes? Would you like to address the delegation today? Under other business? I can't do it. You guys have someone here.
Maybe we should, just getting close to our last meeting to make a decision on any of this, maybe we should have a discussion after about this. Can we put it under other business? Make a motion to put it under, or I don't need a motion.
Yes, so right now there's a motion on a recommendation on the floor for the approval of the agenda. If you'd like to add this item to the agenda, it can be under other business. Would the mover and the seconder agree to the amended changes to the agenda?
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with it also.
Any other additions to the agenda? Okay, all in favor? Okay, carried. So in your package, as always, there's the minutes from August 6th meeting and our visions and values. Is there any business from those minutes? Oh, what? Okay, I'm shocked. Moving on then to the director's report. We had a very good productive services report in our package. Is there any questions, comments in regards to the report? Councillor Cravette.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just one comment, and this pertains to the emergency measures portion of the report. And I was a bit disappointed that our emergency measures people have not really given themselves a really good pat on the back for doing over the last several weeks and I was a beneficiary of this as well, is going out and doing the property assessments and providing recommendations to residents how to improve their properties for fire smarting. And I think, I know there's quite a few people that have used that service that they've offered. And I thought it was a good, sort of a really good news story for some of the things that they're doing to further our community protection and things like that. So I just wanted to, since it's not in the report, make sure that people are aware that they were doing that, and I think they may be continuing to offer that service to residents.
Deputy Mayor?
I just would like to put out a big shout out to all those who were involved with the wildfire that we had, and good response, fast response. On the ECC site, it said it was human caused. I'm not sure if that has been confirmed or not, and if there's any charges pending on that, but it was great response by everybody, and thank you very much for that.
Any other comments regarding the director's report for protective services? Councillor Campbell?
I think they're doing an awesome job, the protective services and everything. And I agree with Councillor Couverette that they should be recognized and everything for the fire smarting end and everything. We should be big shout out to all of them.
All right. Moving on the agenda then, we move to our advisory boards, and moving to the Sustainable Development Advisory Board. If I could, someone recommend that?
I move that Adam Bath be reappointed to the Sustainable Development Advisory Board for a 2-year term ending December 31st, 2025.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Comments? All in favor? Okay, passed unanimously. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see your hand up. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
It's just a reminder that there are many advisory boards that still have some vacancies on that. And I was just wondering if this makes, I know Adam's a reappointment, but are they up to full strength on that? No? Okay, so.
Okay, so moving on the agenda, the bylaw review committee minutes were put in here for your to review. Any questions from last month? Deputy Mayor?
I just want to note that I, as Deputy Mayor, chair that committee, and I called the meeting to order, not the SAO.
So noted. Thank you. They'll fix that. Okay, so then administration. I see nothing in here under administration. So under other business, we had the addition of the delegation. So I'll open the floor for discussion. Why? Nope, this is an open conversation, very frank conversation about a topic in the community. Okay. Okay, Deputy Mayor.
I'm just wondering if administration can let us know if it's possible to do any rezoning of the residential zone for the church, or if that's something, I know that we're working on the community plan right now.
Is that you're looking for direct and ask? SAO? Can you follow up on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll bring a briefing note back to next meeting if you'd like.
Perfect, thank you. Councillor
So what are they basically asking to ease up on their taxes for the whole thing? Or to just give, yeah, pardon? Just, oh, the utility, nothing to do with the taxes, just the utility fees, the water and this. That's not a very hefty one, but if we start a precedent, I don't know how far we're gonna go though, too.
Councillor Cravette?
Yeah, I'm just wondering, and this hopefully will be addressed in the briefing note, and was why I was asking if they were a registered not-for-profit, whether we could consider, since they are a not-for-profit, I know the rates that we're charging and everything is based on the zoning of the land, and it is institutional. Is there any way that we can, through either an amendment to the bylaws or our we do a yearly rates and fees bylaw, is provide some provision in there for a not-for-profit society to be able to have a reduced fee structure for their services. Just something, a possible way that we might be able to address that for them. And I would assume the other, we do have 3 other churches in town that are probably, I don't know what their financial situations are, but I think we may see other delegations in short order from the Pentecostal and the RC sort of asking. And I have no issues with that. Like, they all provide a very valuable service to our community, and if we can find a way to reduce some of the burden on them, then I think we have an obligation to do that.
Deputy Mayor?
And I agree with Councillor Couvret on that. I was wondering about, it's the rectories, the houses that house the ministers that mainly should be zoned as residential. I mean, the halls are rentals usually, so that they get some income coming out of that. But I think it should be worthwhile looking at the residential portion of those different properties.
SAO, do you have your hand up?
No, I did. I forgot to take it down. Sorry.
So is there a recommendation on the floor to direct administration for a briefing note about this?
I'll, I guess, bring it forward as a motion or a recommendation that administration prepare a briefing, a note for mayor and council to consider for possible avenues to provide reduced service rates for not-for-profit societies, and more specifically, community service-oriented societies.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? Mayor Daniels?
Okay, now is that for all 3 of them, or are we just doing one? I'm thinking, we should probably do all 3 of them, because sooner or later, the other ones are gonna come too and ask for it. I mean, we might as well just do it under one slate, and let's take a good look at them all. Thanks.
Councillor Campbell?
Yeah, but it is gonna open up, like, is the Friendship Center, let them come up and speak for themselves. We don't, if they're going by now, all right, it's gonna open up Friendship Center, everything else too. If they wanna come in, these guys got the ball rolling to change it, let's see what happens. Thanks.
Councillor Cravette?
Yeah, and that's part of why I think we need a briefing note, is to ensure that we're not that we don't have a bylaw that can be perceived as discriminatory. And that's why I suggested that we address it under a not-for-profit society type basis, and leave it up to the organizations. And this could be something that that any reduction in fees could be a discretionary call by mayor and council. I'm not too sure how that would, and that's why I think we need the briefing note. How do we allow that? Because as Councillor Campbell said, that would open the door for a lot of additional organizations that fall under the Societies Act to be able to approach us. And there are some out there that, other than the religious organizations, that might be very deserving of some sort of fee. Maybe it's a rebate. I don't know. Just, I think, hopefully that can be addressed in the briefing note.
Any other discussion? All in favor? All in favor? It is so moved. So then there's nothing else under other business. There's no excusing of any counselors. So the date of the next meeting won't be till October? October 1st, 2024. Recommendation to adjourn.
I move we adjourn at 7:20 PM.
I'll second it.
All right, meeting adjourned.